So the store and forward feature, it was released in 8565. It's going to allow you to collect that card information when you don't have Counterpoint communicating with SecurePay, and it could be an internet thing. It could be, the horrible SecurePay is down kind of thing. It keeps the credit card information locally and applies a stand-in authorization. So basically fills in that authorization with, stand-in and so you can complete the payment process. And then it's going to upload all that payment information for authorizations when the connection is reestablished. So what are the risks? When communication is restored, the authorizations may still fail. They could still be declined. So you could lose money that way. And then there's a maximum time allowed for collecting these stand-ins. And if the workstation cannot connect to SecurePay for that maximum time, the authorization may expire. Again, losing money on that. So it's only for use with SecurePay. You have to have a payment terminal, so it's not going to work with the back office if there's no payment terminal configured for it, and the credit card option is not required. It's just, you just have to be able to run credit cards, whether you have the credit card option or not, as long as you can get credit card authorizations through SecurePay. Installing 856 will overwrite the existing Uniterm INI file, so you might want to make a backup of that if you have some customizations in there that are working. For Bluefin, you're going to have to get a patch for this to work, and then you have to modify this INI file on each workstation. So it's workstation specific at this point. And here are the values that you would put in the INI file. Enabled, yes, that turns the store and forward on. Maximum transactions, maximum transaction amount, maximum aggregate amount, and the offline time, how many days you can be in offline. And then you would have to restart the services, the device services, in order for this to be enabled to work, to be active. So maximum number of transactions is the number of pending transactions that you allow. Let's say that in a day you get, 250 credit card transactions. So maybe you want to say that the maximum number of pending transaction is 300. Once you've hit that maximum number of pending transactions, all other credit card charges will be declined. And again, this is a workstation by workstation, register by register setting. Maximum transaction amount. How much are you willing to risk on a single transaction? So again, if you're willing to risk $150 on a single transaction, if your transaction goes over $150, it's going to automatically be declined. There'll be no stand-in authorization. Aggregate amount, the maximum amount of all the stand-in charges allowed. So let's say that your maximum amount that you will allow to be charged is $150 and you have 200 transactions. Are you going to allow, 3,000 as an aggregate amount, 30,000 as an aggregate amount, 50,000 as an aggregate amount? What's the total of stand-in that you're going to risk for that, again, single register? And then offline time and days, the maximum number of days you can allow stand-in charges. So in this one, they say the processor may have rules on how frequently you must upload those stand-in charges. And this is why the risk is you could lose them. So let's say the processor rule is 1 day. Well, if the stand-in goes over 1 day, 24 hours, anything during that time that has been processed as a stand-in authorization, and you go over that time, those older ones wouldn't be processed or would be declined because they didn't follow the rules of the processor. So this is what the file looks like inside. I just did a quick picture screenshot of the file. So I have my maximum offline time is 3 days. very excited about that, 3 days. So the user doesn't have to do anything. The management doesn't have to do anything. Once you enable this, it will switch automatically. There was, originally when they released this, there was no notification that you were using Store and Forward. Now you can choose to do the warning, the stand-in authorization warning, and it's going to appear, this is what I read, I haven't been able to test it yet, it's going to appear with every ticket that you complete, that it is a stand-in authorization. And then, of course, when you go to upgrade, if you've enabled these stand-in authorizations, before you upgrade, make sure all your stand-in authorizations are uploaded to SecurePay. So the SecurePay portal will show you which transactions were stand-in. The SecurePay reconciliation report will show you transactions that have not uploaded, transactions that have, as you know, found in CP only. We'll show you if any of the authorizations were approved for a partial amount. And the stand-in authorization is actually a new menu, stand-in authorization window, has 2 tabs, pending, those transactions not yet uploaded, and then the upload results, or a list of uploaded stand-in authorizations from the last 30 days. So you do get some reporting here that you can work with. This is just kind of the documentation that I pulled this from. I did print this out so that Darlene can share it with you. Okay, here's some of your limitations. Only for credit cards without PIN. No stored value cards, no EBT, no debit. They're not supported. And it's only on workstations where the payment terminal is defined. And you can only run tickets on that payment terminal for one store. So if you have a register that might jump between stores, and I don't think in your organization you do, but there are a few organizations out there that will, you can only have it while the standard authorizations are done. You can only have it going through one store. And then so it's recommended so that it only is one store, that you set your user security so that they're only allowed, not allowed other stores when they're in a work group, and that the work group is locked down on the station. Not supported for CP Mobile, not supported for Counterpoint API at this point. Other limits, card on file. You cannot use or modify a card on file. You can't add a card on file. You cannot automatically return to the original card in a validated return. You can't void a completed ticket with a stand-in authorization. You can't void a completed ticket with a regular authorization. So no voids. And then final payment, you can't take new order final payments, and you can't release orders with a final payment, which I don't think you do orders anyway either. So Store and Forward will not correct the connectivity, is dependent on device services working, and does not collect electronic signatures. So a lot of people at this point, you know, they're doing the no signature so that it's less touching because of the COVID, so that might not be an issue. And I believe that's a sample error message. Ticket includes a stand-in authorization, or not necessarily an error, but a message. And that, it's pretty simple. Again, pretty easy. You just need to be aware of your limits and risks.